Good morning. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook. Let me check. Hold on just a second. I just want to make sure that my microphone levels are good. I think we're good. I was playing with a microphone last night because thanks to cluster member Lars Sundberg, we have a brand new cable. The cable that connects to the microphone, that connects the microphone to the mixer is brand new. So hopefully we will not have any more noisy broadcasts in the future. I want to thank new friend and cluster member Lars Sundberg for bringing down an XLR cable for me from the United States. We got together last night and had dinner at Whiskey Kitchen, and it was absolutely wonderful. So thank you very much. As always, welcome to our broadcast. Today is the last day of the month of May. Today is Puerto Vallarta's anniversary. We're going to talk about that in a second. But first, welcome everybody to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together. If there is anybody here that is watching live for the first time and would like to give us the opportunity to welcome you, I would love to do that. If you write the word new in your comment, we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little hello. If you have something really important that you wish to share that we don't want to miss, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and that way we will be able to find it later on in the chit chat section. So we're going to start with news, and before I start with news, I want to ask a question. A couple of times in the recent past, I have mentioned news items that were not from Puerto Vallarta, or maybe if they were enraging. You know, the kind of thing that makes Mexicans really upset and disgusted. This is not nurturing news in any way. And I wonder if you want me to continue doing that, because there is yet another incident that is rattling my cage and the cage of many Mexicans. So if this is content that you wish to hear from time to time about the bad stuff that's happening in the country, or the really indignant, outrageous things that are going on, just write the word rage by itself and I'll be happy to fill you in on the latest. Otherwise, we're going to just dive into our news section this morning, starting with the anniversary of Puerto Vallarta. It is today. Puerto Vallarta celebrates 105 years as a municipality of Jalisco and 55 years since it was converted into a city, or it became large enough to become a city. Oh, my goodness. You all want to know the ragey stuff. Okay. I will talk about rage in a second. Let me get past the block of news, and we'll come back to rage. The information about tonight's anniversary program has been trickling from the authorities. We mentioned some of the things that are going to go on. And now we know that the program is officially available. And the surprise guest at midnight is Alfredo Olivas. I had no idea of who he was. So I did a quick Google. And he is a regional Mexican singer-songwriter specializing in the styles of banda, Pacific Norteño, Norteño banda, and mariachi. So Alfredo Olivas, whose music I'm personally not familiar with, is going to be the main show after the fireworks tonight at midnight. So if you're going to be out and about, this is what you can expect. Needless to say, there's going to be traffic closures close to downtown Puerto Vallarta. So authorities have announced that Morelos is going to be closed from Galeana to Zaragoza today, starting at 5 p.m. That was yesterday. I'm sorry, starting at 5 p.m. And today, Wednesday, starting at 6:30 p.m. So if you're going to be driving through downtown Puerto Vallarta, you want to keep this in mind. It's not going to be a very smart idea to get into the city on a car or a bus. The buses will not even go in, probably. And of course, it wouldn't be an ordinary day if there wasn't at least one local news source showcasing one or several city problems. In this case, as usual, it's Tribuna de la Bahía, who quickly announces that, while we should be happy that our anniversary is today, the Malecon is falling apart. And they show a series of photographs showing how the city, for better or worse, has neglected the maintenance of what is probably considered the most important destination in our city, the most important tourist attraction, the Malecon. So hopefully authorities will pay attention to this and find a way to fix it. Why is that important? Well, we'll get into that in a second in a little commentary that I found. But first, in addition to the new connections to Puerto Vallarta that we announced in the past few days, Volaris has announced a total of 40 new domestic routes, increasing their offer beyond what Aeromexico and Viva Aerobus are currently offering. Even though only a few of the new routes are announced, that were announced connect directly with Puerto Vallarta, the expansion proposed by the domestic airline is definitely worth of the attention. What does this mean? That, well, Volaris has connecting hubs in Guadalajara, so yes, and Mexico City, I'm sure. So if you want to fly many more places, you can have more connections available. And we announced a couple of new direct flights just a few days ago. Now, somebody asked recently about the new airport terminal, and there was an article about this morning. It doesn't say much. It essentially says what we already know. The construction of the new airport terminal here in Puerto Vallarta seems to be moving at a fast pace. And we are looking, of course, at a rendering here. This is not what it's looking. This is what it's supposed to look like when it is completed. And the project is not expected to be completed until the end of next year, until the end of 2024. So pack your bags, come to Puerto Vallarta, but do not expect a welcome at the new airport terminal until the end of next year. But I think it was Paula who asked about this not too long ago, or somebody. There you have it. Now, even though Seapal is now increasingly and openly being accused of water shortages throughout the city, they have not offered any type of formal explanation, limiting their communications on social media to recommendations for how to conserve water. However, their latest social media posts to that effect are now generating very angry comments from readers questioning, how can we look after what we don't even have? Again, if you are not having water shortages, consider yourselves fortunate and do handle your water consumption as responsibly as possible. My personal wish for this is that the authorities, and in this case, Seapal, will be transparent about what is really going on out there, because I think we deserve that kind of transparency. Now, we mentioned a recently inaugurated exhibition currently on display at City Hall of historic photographs of Puerto Vallarta. And during the opening of this event, Puerto Vallarta city chronicler Juan Manuel Gomez Encarnacion emphasized the urgency of establishing a city museum that focuses on our history. There was, as you know, an initiative to start this, but the initiative failed to get the funds necessary to purchase a home. So what they did is they purchased a bus. So we don't have a history museum, but we have a mobile history museum. The project has been rebranded, and it is now called Ruta Mushi. We've mentioned this before. And I got curious about any updates on the inauguration of the museum bus, and I was happy to learn that it will be inaugurated this coming Friday at 6 p.m. at Parque Hidalgo. So if you are curious as I am, this is something that is coming up in a couple of days. What else do we have? Let me get into the rage now, because we're going to get into milder things as we move forward. I saw a lot of people, even though I haven't read all your comments, I saw a lot of people write the word rage. The latest one to enrage me and a lot of people has to do with a man that God, I think this happened in the state of Mexico, near Mexico City. A man walked into a butcher shop and had some kind of discussion. The butcher had a huge container of hot oil, as most traditionals do. They use the big boulders of, the big containers of hot oil to make chicharrón and to prepare carnitas and whatnot. And apparently the man that was upset at the butcher left the place, and he was so angry that he saw a dog not far from the butcher. He took the dog and threw the dog into the boiling hot oil. The dog was rescued, but the dog didn't make it. The dog did not survive this horrendous attack. And people have been rightfully angered about this. I'm seeing a comment from somebody that saw the video this morning. I couldn't even bring myself to see the video. I just couldn't. My stomach is not that strong. So a wild search went on to find the man. The man has been identified and found. And now what is making people angry is the sentence. Maybe the law has to be revised. I don't even remember the details, but apparently he's only going to get a few years in jail for doing such a heinous attack on a dog that had nothing to do with it. And my feeling is that he's probably not even going to make a few weeks in a jail if other inmates find out why he is in for. So I don't know what's going to be the end of this. This has reached presidential levels, and we hope that justice will be served in this horrible, horrible incident. And that was what has me cringing inside and out. Now, moving right along, we have also heard comments for your music. Your microphone levels are jumping all over and distorted at times. Thank you very much for that. Let me lower this a little bit, and I will try to keep the crowds happy. Moving right along, what is needed in Puerto Vallarta to become a Mágico category town or neighborhood? As we know, there are some dependencies that have been wanting to convert El Centro in Puerto Vallarta into a pueblo mágico or colonia mágica or distrito mágico or whatever. And Vallarta Independiente went through the trouble of finding out what the requirements are. If you are curious to read about reading what the requirements are, there is a lot of There is a lot of information in this article that I didn't even read because personally, I just don't think it is possible to turn our downtown area into a Mexico anything given the condition in which the authorities are maintaining or not maintaining the city. But again, that is just my personal opinion. And what I'm going to share now is not an opinion, it's just something that I thought was really interesting. Riviera Nayarit employs a PR agency which is based in New York called En Route Communications to do all their international promotion. And this article about Riviera Nayarit as an LGBTQ plus destination caught my attention. Simply because I can see that in the last few days, the Puerto Vallarta government has been doing a lot to promote the recent Pride Parade, which is something that I'd never seen before. I'm happy that local authorities are now looking at the importance of promoting LGBTQ plus tourists in our city. And somehow Riviera Nayarit is being expected to respond in kind. So I read the press release sent by En Route Communications. And of course, Riviera Nayarit is not going to become an LGBTQ destination overnight. But I thought it was an interesting read as to what they are using to market Riviera Nayarit as a gay destination. I'm going to include it in the show notes for you to read if you care to do that. I am looking at all your comments about the microphone, and I appreciate them, and they are what they are. I'm not going to change anything during the broadcast just because I am doing the broadcast. I appreciate the reports, and I will actually look at this right after the broadcast is over. Now, let's take a quick look at the weather just to see what's going on out there. Let me put this on my screen. The UV index is high today, but hey, nobody lives forever. Well, whatever. It is 28 degrees right now. Feels like 29. Humidity is at 64%. Fahrenheit temperature is 82 degrees. And it is warm out there. Our weather forecast is going to be clear skies in the morning with partly cloudy skies in the afternoon, a high of 31 and a low of 24. The next day, tomorrow, Thursday, will be humid with mostly clear skies throughout the day with a high of 31 and a low of 23. And Friday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with mostly clear skies in the afternoon. Low chance of rain, a high of 31 and a low of 23. Now, today is, before we move on with another headline that I have to share with you, today is day 2 of important changes here at Coffee and Headlines. We mentioned on Monday that we've added walking tour sponsorships and walk-around sponsorships for businesses that want to get the word out of their new business. I will gladly go and visit the business and take photos and video and show it to you. And as far as the walking tours are concerned, I continue to do walking tours, but on my own terms. If there is a neighborhood that you're particularly interested in seeing sooner than later, or a neighborhood that I may or may not get to, you can now sponsor a walking tour. And this is, of course, found in our website, our Buy Me a Coffee website, and those would be under commissions. I showed these to you just this past Monday. But today is the day in which we announced changes in memberships. I went through a lot of thinking about this because you are paying a membership, and I don't think it is very fair on my part to make drastic changes to memberships. But there are small changes that I wish to announce, and I'm going to put this on the screen. When we started doing Coffee and Headlines, you were able to buy coffees at $3 per coffee. Then it went up to 4, and now coffees are up to $5 per coffee. That sounds like a lot of money, but again, I'm responding to the changes in the currency relationship between peso and dollar, and the fact that I cannot put Mexican pesos in Buy Me a Coffee. They don't support Mexican currency. The bigger change today is that we are announcing membership tiers rather than increasing majorly the membership level that you have been a part of. I decided to add an additional tier. So I consulted with Luna, and I said to Luna, what do we call these membership levels? Like, what do we call the membership level that we already have? And she said, meow. And I understood that to be a clusterite membership. So all of you that are members, monthly or annual members, guess what? You are clusterite members. And that went up to $5 per month from month. But then I said to Luna, what if we add another tier? What do we call that? And Luna said, meow wow, which I understood to mean cluster angels. So if you reflect on the valuable connections that you have made through Coffee and Headlines over the past 3 years, or maybe the people that you've met, or how the projects here have changed your life, you can pursue a Cluster Angel membership. And if you are already a regular member, you can switch to increase your support to Coffee and Headlines. Please think about that. We will make yet another important announcement on Friday that has to do with corporate sponsorships, and you'll hear about that on Friday. Between now and then, and as always, any support that you can provide to the existence of this project is very, very much appreciated. And speaking of support, I have yet one more. Oh, your comments are funny today. I have yet one more bit of news that I want to share. We usually say we don't get very involved in any particular nonprofit here in town, but this post from Vallarta Abuelos totally got my attention. It reads, we have placed a drinking fountain for water by the front door of the Vallarta Abuelos Center. The concept is from the Muslim tradition called Sebil, in which community-minded people make water available for travelers and passers-by. Our Mexican version is enjoyed by children, workers, street people, and although Vallarta temperatures during the humid summer months don't approach the 120 degrees in the Middle East deserts, the refreshingly cool water is appreciated by all. And I say, good for you, Vallarta Abuelos. What a great deed to do for people that just walk by your location, wherever that is. I am going to be putting this in the show notes so you can thank them or find out more about their projects. And without further ado, let's get into your comments. And since I'm looking at the very first one, I usually start from the beginning, but since this is here and we have just talked about it, it's very easy. Let me get into the website so that I can show you what it is. If you go into the website, these are the costs per month. If I want to join, if I click the button, then it shows me what it is per year. So here you can choose to go 8 per month or 80 per year. So if you subscribe by year, you are getting 2 months for free. The same thing happens with the Clusterite membership. If you go by month, it's 5. If you go by year, it's 50. So you save 2 months if you pursue an annual membership. Now I am going to go back to the beginning as usual and take a look at your comments. Your good mornings always make me smile. Let's see. Paula says it's going to be a hot one in Minnesota. It's going to be a hot one in Puerto Vallarta as well. Rage, we covered that. Thank you very much. Again, I don't want to crowd you with bad news, but every now and then something happens that has Mexican society at an edge. And this dog situation definitely was one of those. Charles just wants PV Rage. Fair enough. Let's see. Paco, you show your content. Appreciate anything you care to share. I appreciate your point of view, Barbara. But again, we like to get people's opinion in the mix whenever we can. Let's see. Oh, Candace, I am sure you had read about that one because you are very empathetic to dog-related issues. Let's see what else we have. Reactions to what I said. Then comments about sound. I try to keep my mouth in front of the microphone as much as possible. And again, I appreciate your comments, but keep in mind, if you might, that from my point of view, I have one microphone, and at your end, you could be listening on headphones, on a big speaker, on a small speaker, on a cell phone, on a TV, on a computer. So while I appreciate all the comments that you make, it is very difficult for me to put myself in your shoes in the middle of a broadcast. So I kindly appreciate your patience. Don't like to hear about such things. Very sad. Again, I'm putting the option forward whether you want to hear the most heinous things that happen every now and then or not. Let's see. There's a queue. Oh, once again, a very detailed connection. I will listen to the broadcast after the end and see exactly what you are getting. That'll give me an idea of your experience. I didn't know you were a cat whisperer. Well, Luna is a human whisperer. That's definitely what's going on here. Can we still do an annual membership? Absolutely. I just showed that on the screen. The option has always been monthly and annual. Do these new tiers have a yearly savings option? Yes. Now, if you are already a member and you ask me specifically how Buy Me a Coffee computes the annual savings if you're switching from one level to another, I don't have a specific answer, unfortunately, but I can find out if it comes up. Which I think answers this question by Sherry. Again, I don't know exactly because I don't know if Buy Me a Coffee bills you once a month for the annual fee or it bills you in a lump sum. I'm not entirely sure, but Sherry, perhaps this is a question to ask the nice folks at Buy Me a Coffee. If you'd like me to take a look at that, I'll be happy to do that. Just let me know. Thank you for that, Logan. I got a raise at the start of the year due to inflation. It's only fair that Luna gets one too. Did you hear that, girl? Logan is going on vacation tomorrow, and we wish him safe travels. Will my membership automatically update, or will I need to resubscribe? Great question, Colleen. Memberships are automatically renewed by Buy Me a Coffee. Occasionally people will ask me when is my renewal date coming, and I'm always happy to answer that question. But if you wish to resubscribe at the new tier, you will need to switch manually. Let's see. Casa Abuelos is doing their annual backpacks and cool supplies. Cassandra Show Jewelry is part of the campaign. and is a drop-off. This is great to know. Thank you very much for that bit of information. Let's see what else we have. Oh, I think we're at the end of your comments. So this brings us to the end of today's broadcast. I'm sorry for the discrepancies in sound. Maybe I'll tweak my compressor settings and see what I can do to improve the quality of sound. And again, I'll listen to the entire broadcast once this one is over to better understand what's happening at your end. As always, I thank you for making this possible. I wish you a wonderful Wednesday, and I wish for you to have a good day and stay in touch. One final comment: my credit card will expire soon, so I'll need to update my info. That's perfectly fine. Just buy me a coffee. Let them know if you wish to continue with the regular Clusterite level, or if you want to switch over to Cluster Angel. Thank you very much for this broadcast. I will see you again soon, if not tomorrow. Take care.